Okay, welcome. So in this video, we are just going to add data to this map in arcGIS Pro, and then talk a little bit about how we can manipulate the symbology to make it look the way we want it to. So to add data, we're going to use this Add Data button. Note that it is under the Map tab. So if you're in one of these other tabs, your options are going to look different and it's not going to be there. So be sure that you're in Map. The other thing that might cause it to not show up is if your window is too small. So if you drag your window out or full screen it, this Add Data may pop up. So if we go here, we're going to click, you can click the drop down or you can click the top. And click the drop down so we can be more specific. We want to just add data to the map. So we're going to click that and it's going to bring us into a file explorer. So here you want to navigate to where your data is. So in this case, I just have it in my downloads folder as a temporary place to put it. Very important here, you need to make sure that whatever folder you are going to add the data from, it needs to be unzipped. So if you didn't unzip the data that you downloaded and it was in a zipped file, be sure that it is unzipped. So I've unzipped this. I'm going to open that folder and you can see that it shows me this .shp shapefile here. So I'm going to click that and then click OK. And you can see that it added the data to the map. This is a hydrology data set. These are a bunch of watersheds where we have data across the United States. And you can see that the default is to add this in a single symbol symbology. So they're just all kind of this purple color. So they're not colored by anything. They don't look very good. So we have a bunch of data associated with each of these watersheds, and we can look at what we have if we right click and then click attribute table, and it'll show up down here. So we have longitude, latitude of the center, the area, mean elevation, average temperature, the perimeter, et cetera. So these are different things that we can use to color, or if these were points, we can control the size, et cetera, with these columns. So let's quickly show how we could change these so that we color each of these watersheds by the mean elevation. So we're going to have this mean elevation column control the color of the watersheds. Just going to close that so that we have more space. And then I'm going to right click on the data that I just brought in, and then I'm going to click on Symbology. So Symbology is where we can edit the way these look. So we can see right now they're single symbol, and that's what we talked about before. They're just this purple color. And if we click drop down on this, we can see that we have different options. Unique values would be we could have a different color for each like name of the watersheds, which we have so many here that that's not going to look very good. And then there are other options here, but we are going to look at graduated colors. So we're going to have a color that changes based on a numeric value. So when you click that, it auto-populates with just whatever the first column is, which in this one is the ID number, which is not meaningful. So these are colored by this ID number. They're just getting darker as they go across the United States. So remember, we wanted to do that average elevation. So here we go. We're going to click down, go to elevation mean. You can do some normalization stuff. We're just going to leave that blank for now. And then there are different options where you can control basically where it puts these breaks. So if you go over here, you can see that it automatically calculates, like yellow is going to be 6.6 to 372, orange is 372 to 820, and so on. And so there are different ways to characterize those breaks. You could have it so that they're equal. This Jenks system breaks them into quantities based on the distribution of the data. We don't need to worry about that too much for right now. Some other options that you might want to be aware exist are defined and manual interval. So these are, you can specify how big you want the intervals to be or manually tell it what you want the intervals to be. But for now, we're just going to say natural breaks. Then we can tell it how many classes. That's basically how many colors. So let's go ahead and change that. I'll change it to 10. And it'll automatically update. Now you see we have 10 colors. So that's what that did there. And then our color scheme, we might want a different color scheme. And so if you click the drop down thing here, you can hover over them to see the names of the different color schemes. You can also double or click the checkbox here to show the names, and we can pick whichever one we want. So I'm just going to click this yellow, blue, green, and you can see it changes the color. So now we can look and pretty quickly see on this map where the highest elevation watersheds are in the United States in this data set compared to the lower elevation ones, which is down here. One last thing that I'll talk about that you can do here is you can change the labels. So you can customize any of these, the values in this little table. So see, this says a label. So let's say I wanted to, instead of having numbers here, I wanted to have text. So I could click on that, click backspace, and then type smallest, click somewhere else. And now you can see over here, it says smallest. So if you, for mapping purposes, you'd rather have this represented in a different way, maybe you want to delete the decimals here in these numbers. There's a number of different reasons you can do that. You can just click those in that. So then we can close, and now we've got it, the symbology set for this data set that we added to our map. I'll let that load properly so that it doesn't look terrible right before I stop the video.